Hi there, everyone. Thanks for joining our SMART session. It's great to see some familiar names joining us today. I'm Katie. I'm the facilitator for today's SMART session, and we'll get started with the bit.ly link that you see on your screen. So feel free to click on that link to access all the resources from today's SMART session and then the recording that will be available later, so you can pass it along to anyone that you work with. This is our customer experience team. I know you've probably corresponded with many of us online and via email. So we have Kat from our customer support team. She's the one you likely will be chatting with after this webinar if you have any questions about enabling integrations. And then there's Erin and I, both former educators and your consultants and coaches to get you along in your customer journey. And Erin will be monitoring the chat today. So if you have any questions, feel free to post those in the chat and we'll respond throughout the session at the end of the session as needed. I believe the bit.ly link is also sitting in the chat, so you can grab it there as well. So today's topics, we're going to talk about integrations that Gradient offers when you purchase a school subscription. So we're going to talk about some prerequisites, some of the free integrations that are available, and then some possible next steps. To get started with prerequisites, we really encourage that although you are all amazing superheroes in your own right, that you support Gradient as a team of people, which includes your fellow IT and student information system contacts within your school or district. So step one is identifying the leaders that support Gradient by using all of the information and our contact survey that we have. So step two there, filling out that contact survey, super important for us, so that when we're working with you, when Kat is answering support questions and calls, she knows whether she's authorized to talk to the person that's asking the questions or not. And that way we don't have to waste the time asking you for permission and going back and forth. So this first link shows you access to what it means to be a Gradient leader in our system. It talks about some of the integrations available, gives you some background if you're new to the role, and also gives you, just a basic tour of the platform and then some resources that you might like to use for your teachers or for your team. The contact information survey is just a quick survey. It asks who on your team is responsible for what. So you type in your email and then you answer questions about who's in charge of rostering and who's in charge of your LMS. And those contacts are then used in our support interactions so that we know if we're talking to the right folks and who to connect back to you. And then lastly, prerequisite, especially for our LMS integrations, really helpful, not required, but really helpful to have a roster sync in place. So as you can imagine, if you're working with an LMS like Canvas or Schoology, you are likely already syncing with those platforms and sending staff login credentials and student login credentials. And to make that seamless to work with Gradient, you'd want to have your roster syncing so that each night all of that information is being updated and that both platforms are using the same information. So there's just a quick link here. If you haven't already thought about syncing your rosters or you're not yet able to, there's links for how to sync with Clever, how to start an account with them, same thing with ClassLink, and then our other file import options. So that's it. Those are our three requisites. Decide who the leaders are, fill out our contact survey so we know we're talking to the right folks, and think about syncing your rosters so that you can take advantage of the integrations that are available. So let's get into the meat of our integrations. The four integrations we're focused on today are all related to online delivery of assessments or online review of assessment results. So the Desmos calculator is a free integration tool that shows up when a student is taking an assignment online. So we have a quick picture here of a PDF. A student is taking a quiz on fractions. They have their answer key on the right-hand side, and they have a little icon, you kind of see it behind, a little calculator that's been enabled that allows them to answer questions. So this is what the basic calculator looks like here, coming from Desmos. This is the scientific calculator that has just a few more options, probably for older students. And then a graphing calculator that's also available, and you can kind of see the Desmos logo there down at the bottom. So all three of these online tools are available. It's just a setting that you create when you're deciding your testing window for the portal. And it will show whether you're using our portal, you're using Google Classroom, you're using Canvas or Schoology. Any of our online environments will mimic the same view. If you want to learn more about that integration, you can click on that Desmos calculator link, and it'll take you to our support documentation that walks you through where to go when you're setting up your online test, how you can choose the settings, how you can go to the Tools tab and pick what calculator you want to use, and so on. So you have all that information linked for you right in the deck. The next online feature that I'm not showing, but is linked inside of our deck, is the lockdown browser. I can't show it because I don't have a student device with the lockdown browser installed, but I can get you to the link. So the article for teachers describes what a lockdown browser is, where it's coming from. It's coming from a company called Respondus, and they give a quick video to see the student perspective of what it looks like to use their lockdown browser. And then it gives them a link to pass along to IT, which would be your role, to set up the browser on the devices students will be using. So the lockdown browser that's within Gradient will only work on devices where the lockdown browser has been installed. So there's information here in the link about how to set up Respondus's lockdown browser. It gives you some device specifications about which devices it will work on. And then it just gives you some steps for what to do if you're using a Windows device, a Mac device, a Chrome device, etc. So that information is all available for you. We do give you some Gradient links back to Student Portal and creating online access if that is new for you. But all the information you should need is right there. And then the next integration to kind of highlight is our Canvas integration. So the Canvas integration, very similar to the Schoology one, so I'm only showing the Canvas one in this example. The Canvas integration allows students to take their student portal online test within Canvas. So this is a view of a student being logged into Canvas. They're in one of their courses and they've clicked on an assignment that was created originally in Gradient, and the teacher has set up an online testing window for the students to take the test. So I was going to hop in and show this really quickly. I'm in our example of Canvas. It's not quite the same as what every school and district has, but it's close. And I'm going to pretend I'm a student taking this assignment online. So I'm going to act as the student real quick. And so I would log into Canvas and select the assignment. And there are setup steps for this, so I can walk back through that. And a student would be able to click on the assignment that's due and then be able to take the assignment. So right now, the student is actually viewing Gradient inside of Canvas, and they're able to do all the same things they typically can do inside of an online test. They can expand or magnify their view. They can access multiple PDFs, documents within this view and go to multiple pages. They're able to expand the view for the PDF. So if they want to make it bigger, they have that option. And then they can answer the questions as they go. So they can decide the correct answer, change their answer, choose more than one answer, all of that. And our online portal is checking their progress as they go. And then they can enter in their essay information and turn it in. So this is what the setting for this particular online test just shows the student that they've turned in their results, and this was set up to not show direct results immediately, depending on the test security and the purpose of the assignment. Teachers might not want students to be able to see their answer key or see their graded scores quite yet. And then I have an example of what it would look like if your staff isn't really interested in giving assignments online, but would like to be able to scan assignments like they always have on paper But then instead of having to print a report for students, maybe they want students to be able to see their results online. So saving some paper and a way for students to access their results and get some feedback. So here again, I'm logging in as a different student that I had given this test on paper. They have given me their answer key back. I've scanned it, I've graded the essay, and now they're able to see their responses. So again, based on the settings that I've set up, I've allowed the student to see the one they got wrong. I gave them what the correct answer was, and they're also able to see their essay as well as how many points they received and any feedback if I decided to leave any feedback. So just a quick demonstration of how our integrations kind of complement other tools, connect Gradient with tools your teachers and your students are already using. And the Schoology integration works in a similar way. I'll go ahead and click on the link for Schoology. Same idea. You can get a quick video here of what the integration looks like. There's a description of how to connect it as an external tool, just like you would with Canvas. So some of the steps that you're probably familiar with. Here's the area where you connect the Gradient assignment to your Schoology assignment. So there's some information about how to do that. And then another great benefit of these integrations is that the grades automatically are going to transfer into Schoology or into Canvas just by connecting the assignment. So no reason to use grade transfer in these cases. When you're using the integration, the grades automatically fill in the LMS gradebooks. So I'm seeing lots of activity in the chat. Want to make sure that I have a chance to answer those questions. Before I do, just letting you know, we did recently do our November newsletter, which the whole focus was on integration. So if you didn't happen to see that or it missed your inbox, you can click on our newsletter link and get access to basically all of the information I've just shared. So how you can use Gradient with your LMS so that they can complement each other. This is teacher information about how to use the Canvas, your Schoology integrations. It shows how to give feedback and how to use the lockdown browser, as well as some other tips and tricks for giving assignments online. And then we have a leader section. So for those of you that are responsible for making all this magic happen, you have, again, the Schoology and Canvas setup options. There's the link to today's smart session. And then additional information. If you're not sure really about what your staff needs related to these integrations, we've created a quick sample survey that you can use and send out to your staff. So if you click on this link, it creates a copy of a survey, and you can ask your staff about how they currently use Gradient, any additional access that they might need, how often they use it. And that way they can tell you about any possible integrations that they need. So you have a little bit more information about what to prioritize. So all that information is available to you in our newsletter. I'll stop recording and make sure we get a chance to answer any questions that you have. So let me pause the recording.